Dear students, welcome you to the first video lecture on web technology and its application subject. Myself Sunanda Biradar, handling the subject. Let us have a look on course overview. The goal of this course is to provide a knowledge about programming tools and skills required to build and maintain the websites on the web. This course is introducing you various languages like HTML5 that includes links, lists, tables, frames and forms as its part, along with CSS. The course also contains the description about JavaScript and its usage. It also presents an introduction to XML and a server-side programming language PHP, along with teaching how to link the web pages to the databases. So this course entirely is giving you a necessary skills required in web designing as a whole. So these are the course outcomes. So let us go for the first module, first chapter on HTML5. So this is the brief history. So it starts when we say a web page or web designing, the major part of this is internet, right? So internet is defined as a network of networks. So its history starts with the network. As you know that the first network that was there is ARPANET. It started in the year 1960s, and public specification of HTML, which is mainly required for web page design, is given by Tim Berners-Lee in 1991, and it is defined by an organization called as W3C, that is World Wide Web Consortium, in 1997, and it has gone through various versions. Right now we are in HTML5, which has been released in the year 2014. So let us just have a look on HTML syntax. So HTML is mainly called as a markup language. You know the long form of HTML, hypertext markup language, right? What is the meaning of markup language? It is simply a way of annotating a document in such a way to make the annotations distinct from the text being annotated. So what is markup here? This term has come from the days of printing, where editors used to write the instruction on manuscript pages. That might be a revision instruction to the author or copy editor, saying that this should be in so and so color, it should be in a bold, or it should be a regular text, it should be placed on left, right. This kind of instructions used to be written. So same way we are just writing how a text should appear. It should appear in regular, bold, as a list, as a form. So it is done. That word of markup has come from that printing press used in publishing industry. So this is a sample ad hoc markup. As you can see here, we are making a mark with red color, arrows, normal text, written sentence, this oval circled with a oval or cancelled with a cross mark. So it is as simple as doing this. In its simplest form, markup is a way to indicate how you want to show your information. That is how it is giving you information about the appearance of the content, I can say. So how it is implemented? It is implemented through tags. So tag is one keyword that we are using in HTML here. So what is a tag is? It is a element of HTML, we say. So the markup in the previous slide, as we have seen, the red text, circles, arrows, right? So these all are the examples of markup. So HTML works in the same way, but the way is not by means of marking with a pen, pencil. Rather, it is done through some textual tags, that what we call as HTML elements. So that we are using and telling about how our content should look like, whether it should appear in red color, blue color, it should be italic, regular, big size, smaller size. These all are indicated through tags. So then I just told you about the World Wide Web Consortium, W3C. What is that? We'll see here in brief, right? It is a organization, as I said, which sets the standards for the development of websites. Particularly, it maintains how websites should appear in World Wide Web. So it is giving a recommendations or specifications through which have to be followed strictly by the tool developers or the website developers as well. So in 1998, W3C has given a specification called as XHTML 1.0 for the usage of these markup languages. So it makes use of XML syntax rules. So XML, what is this? It's a meta language from which several languages are derived, including the XHTML. XHTML is also a markup language. So what is meta language then? So you might have heard of metadata, data about data we say. So how a language should appear, that itself is defined in the XML. That's why we call XML as a meta language. So then what is XHTML? XHTML, as I said, is also a markup language which came into existence just before HTML 5 and after HTML 4. It's a recent one. But one of the drawback of this was it is very stricter in rules. So it says that it should make use of proper syntax. So it is a little bit difficult for the web page designers to follow all those. Otherwise it will lead to a syntax error. So there is no question of syntax errors in HTML. So that's why this XHTML did not stay in a market for a longer time. So this, you can see that there are certain lines which have to be mandatorily included every time in XHTML, and some quotes and all. These all are to be used syntactically correct only. If you make any mistakes in these also, you are not able to see the output. So this tedious job has resulted into dropping of this XHTML from the real life usage. So after the HTML5 came into existence. So through XHTML we can make the rules stricter, which are defined by XML. The main rules which were mentioned by XHTML is every tag name should be in lowercase, attributes always within quotes, and all elements in the sense tags must have a closing element. You should not leave it as opened as it is. So the meaning of all these tags, attributes, opening element, closing element, these you'll learn as we go through the subject. Yeah, why it has collapsed already I have explained you. Yeah, so by 2009 the W3C stopped working on XHTML 2.0 and instead it adopted a new version of HTML itself, that is 5, which is finalized in October 2014. So your previous batch has learned XHTML for the web design, but you are learning the latest of that, that is HTML5. So there are three main aims of HTML5, where we can specify unambiguously how browsers should deal with the invalid markup. As I said, while doing the practicals with the HTML5, you need not have to have a special tools and say softwares. It just works with all the latest browsers, as I said, right? It also supports non-proprietary programming frameworks like JavaScript. Even though JavaScript is not an open language, it is supported by it is easily incorporated by the HTML5. Be backwards compatible with the existing web. So if say you are able to see the output in say IE9, you are able to see the output in IE10 also. So it is backward compatible as well. That is what we say with the all the softwares. It is one of the say virtue of a software where we look for. It should be compatible with the upper versions of that as well, right? So this is all the advantages. So all the major browsers manufacturers have at least partially embraced HTML5. Certain browsers require to be updated. It is not a living language, that is, it's a language that evolves and develops over the time, as it is a markup, right? Every browser will gradually support it, right? This is how the many browsers are supporting HTML, right? We'll see about elements, attributes, and many other things in the next class. Thank you.